You don't need to be sick to have permission to eat a fear food. You don't need to be sick to have permission to eat more than everyone else, to eat. If you feel you're at too much of a healthy weight to eat your fear foods, to eat restricted foods, that you have to live on safe foods and that you wasted your recovery on safe foods, it's actually a message I've gotten from a lot of you, and it's something that I've had to work with my therapist, my dietitian, my nutritionist on constantly throughout my recovery. So for those of you who are new here, I struggled with anorexia for 15 years, and this year I've gone into recovery with a full team, with a dietitian, nutritionist, therapist, and I'm sharing everything that I'm going through with you guys, because I know a lot of you don't have the access to treatment, or you're not at a point in your recovery where you feel safe asking for treatment. So I want to help you guys and encourage you to get through this journey, to come along with me on mine, to see what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, what's helped me, what's set me back, how I've pushed myself forwards. I feel like the more we help each other, the further that we get, as long as we do it together. So I was always worried that I would balloon and skyrocket up if I added in foods like restricted foods and avoided foods. First things first, for those of you who feel like you've wasted your recovery, you aren't recovered if that is a thought that you're having, because you probably feel as trapped and as restricted in your recovery as you did during the eating disorder itself, because you're as trapped measuring foods, avoiding certain foods, only feeling comfortable with your safe foods, having anxiety when you go out to restaurants and you go out to meals, or needing to know exactly how much was in a certain dish to calculate things in your head. That isn't recovery. What recovery is it's freedom from all that food control. It's freedom from those rules. It's freedom from needing to know what's in something. Freedom from that obsessive need for control. So if you feel that, and remember, anorexia, orthorexia, eating disorders in general have nothing to do with the body weight or body shape. Your body weight does not determine how much you are affected by a disorder. You have anorexia or atypical anorexia, orthorexia, if you are in that mental prison in your mind, if you feel that anxiety, if you feel that overwhelming sense of isolation and depression, that, am I flashing? I thought I was flashing for a second. Whoop! We nearly had to demonetize this video. Just saying. But yeah, so if you feel as isolated as well and depressive because you can't go, I just spat again, not my day. You can't go out with your friends. You can't socialize with your friends because you're too paranoid, you're too rigid in your routine, thinking you have to eat at this specific time of day again. So that's something I work through with my therapist on. Second, we do cognitive behavioral exposure therapy, which means I expose myself to these foods. Now, every single day, I have these foods in my diet, foods that were my specific avoided foods. They're not necessarily going to be yours, but they were mine. So every single meal I'll have butter, I'll have cheeses, I'll have pastas. I actually thought it was discipline. I used it as a sense of pride. I was like, I'm so disciplined. I can avoid these foods. I can avoid fast foods. I can avoid takeouts. But it was the complete opposite to discipline, because it was my eating disorder controlling me. I wasn't choosing to avoid the foods. I was terrified of them, but petrified. And now with the way we do it with CBTE, cognitive behavioral exposure therapy, so I have to add in pasta 3 times a week. I have to add in butter at least 1 meal a day, every single day, what we've been doing for the last month. And it's to teach you that just because adding your avoided foods and your fear foods, it doesn't mean something crazy is going to happen to your body. But if you're still in that trapped mindset, then you might not be at the body weight that you're supposed to be at. Also, we have these ideas in our head that the second we add in something like if we eat pizza every night, or if we eat this food every single night, then our body is going to change and balloon and skyrocket, and we don't trust our body. So if you feel you've wasted your recovery, no. Because 1, you're not in recovery. 2, your weight will stabilize at its set point no matter what you eat. No matter what you eat, when you get to your set point, you've got to trust your body. And so I alternate my snack list every day. Some days I'll have my Greek yogurt and fruit snacks. Other days I'll have my muffin, or I'll have my cupcake, which I've got to do a cupcake at least 3 times a week. Or I'll have my Frappuccino from Starbucks. Or some other days I'll be craving something smaller. But the whole point is, no matter what I eat, your body stabilizes itself throughout the week. You can eat any food that you want. You've just got to trust your body to get there. And of course, when you add in these avoided foods, you do get that extreme hunger where you can't stop eating things. When I added English muffins back in, and when I added my donuts back in, I had to eat a donut twice a day, every single day for a good 2 weeks, until I was like, okay, I now know I'm gonna get my donuts. I'm happy with it, you know, we're cool. I've been eating pasta nearly every single night for the last 2 weeks because after I introduced it into my diet, it's all my body wanted. But now that I've had it every single time I gave it to my body, it's now stabilized. And it's stabilized again. Your biggest fear in your head, what's gonna happen if you start eating your avoided foods and your fear foods, it's in your head. And you've got to show yourself that nothing crazy or scary is gonna happen to you by forcing the behavior and doing it. Because like I have to do, I'll actually show you, I think I'm gonna do a separate video on it, but I've got to fill out a sheet every single time I eat. So what I have is I've got to put the food I'm eating based on my meal plan so we can make sure that I'm getting my proper exchanges. I don't prepare my food for one. I don't cook my food. I have nothing to do with that because again, it's getting rid of that control. It's allowing my body to get used to not having that control, not needing that control. So anyway, what I have on my sheet of paper, I write down what I'm eating, what time I'm eating it, and then the context, why I'm eating it. I have to tell myself every single time I eat something, why I'm eating it. I'm eating it to gain weight. Why do I want to gain weight? So that I can socialize, so that I can feel less isolated, so that I can have more mental energy. Because avoiding a food and restricting a food is so draining on you, and it's why you get mental hunger. It's why you get that extreme mental hunger and that extreme physical hunger. No matter what your body shape is, your body size, you will still get that extreme hunger that you've got to feed your body if you've been mentally restricting on foods, or if you mentally restrict to certain times of the day. That type of control you exercise on your body is actually exhausting. Just trust your body to ride through that and it will stabilize. And all of a sudden you start realizing that you're not ruled by the time of day that you're eating. You're not ruled by portion sizes or what you had for breakfast or what you had for your snack or what you might have for dinner later or if you go out to a friend's house that evening. You just start to feel a sense of complete relief, like your shoulders just drop. And that's what I write every single time I eat. I'm eating for that freedom. I'm eating to be able to go on holiday and vacation and not have to research a menu before I go somewhere. So I know it can be scary, especially if you feel someone set a goal weight for you, a specific BMI, which is, by the way, absolutely bullshit and irrelevant. Your ideal set point weight is the weight that your body's at when you're not obsessing over food, you're not obsessing over restriction. So again, you can't have a doctor set a set weight or a healthy BMI for you if you are mentally still as restrictive as you were in your eating disorder. And just because you add these foods, it doesn't mean anything crazy or different is going to happen to your body. And I will be here to keep telling you that. But if it does, then it does. That's the price of freedom. So for example, I have to gain a specific amount of weight every single week. But lately, over the last 3 weeks, I've gained 4 times the amount that was initially scheduled for me. But that's okay because that's where my body's at right now. And I keep telling myself that I don't want to be the girl that can't ever order a specific dish or can't order pasta at a restaurant. Or I don't want to be the girl that has to be asked for salad dressing on the side. Or I don't want to be the girl that is the only one not eating the burger and the fries, because that isn't what life is about for me. And that to me was led to a state of depression, isolation, not having my period, having osteoporosis. It just had so many drawbacks. And sometimes we don't know the price that we're paying to look a certain way until we pick our head up and we realize we've pushed everyone away around us, we've got nothing left, and the price that we paid to look a certain way was loneliness, depression, and isolation. And that's what I write every single time that I eat a food that makes me anxious, that makes me nervous. I know that the anxiety will pass, but my eating disorder will last forever unless I challenge it. And here's a note to self. You always want to start tomorrow to add an avoided food or restricted food. But so the whole goal so the whole way that we've been working, like I said before, in my recovery is that eating normally. One day I have shepherd's pie, one day I have cottage pie, one day I'll have a pasta dish, another day I'll have a pizza, but it's all about learning to eat foods that I had avoided but making them a part of my normal daily diet. And again, I had these worst case scenarios in my head. I thought I'm going to wake up next week and I'm just going to be this completely different person with no discipline. I'm not going to be the person that I was, the hashtag healthy person. Hashtag healthy person led to hashtag no friends. Just saying. You don't need to be sick to have permission to eat a fear food. You don't need to be sick to have permission to eat more than everyone else, to eat what your body wants. Mentally restriction and that mental prison you're in is enough reason and enough permission that you need. So all of those of you who send me messages saying your mom wants you to gain weight, your doctor wants you to gain weight, you're worried that you wasted weight gain on safe foods, if you're in that mental prison, then you did not waste your recovery because you still are in recovery. And just a side note, when it was my mom and my doctors telling me to gain weight, I didn't do it. I was so half-assed at it. And then I relapsed all the time and I didn't do it properly and I wasn't into it. It wasn't until the day that I decided I want to gain weight. And if that means I'm at a higher weight than everyone else for that sense of freedom, it's my choice and it's my decision because it's what I want to do. And unless you get to that stage, nothing I say, nothing any other doctor says, nothing any therapist says will make you gain weight. So what I want you to do is a little exercise with me is I want you to write down in the comment section down below why you want to gain weight. Because essentially that's why do you want to eat those avoided foods? I want to be able to go to France and eat a pastry by a French chef and not have to rely on packaged pastries where I know the calories. That's the whole point of this. Now, if you do want to see what I eat in a day and the normal foods that I am eating, remember one, you can't eat what I eat because you don't know what stage I am in my recovery. You don't know what stage of my meal plan that I'm in. So mine is tailored towards me, my body, my goal, how much weight I want to gain every single week. So do not follow with that. If that is triggering, don't click on those videos. And that's why I don't upload them on these channels. I upload them on my other channel, The Confused Expat. So if you do want to follow along with those, you do want to see, maybe it's just to get ideas of what different meals is she eating. Oh my gosh, okay, I haven't tried a combination like that. Let me try add butter into my every single meal. Let me try and add mayonnaise. It's just to inspire you and give you ideas and encouragement to know that I'm doing it and you can do it too with me. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I know especially in quarantine, as we feel our bodies change, we have to move less. We are stuck with our thoughts most of the time. And remember, an eating disorder is an anxiety-based disorder, meaning your mind goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes like a freight train of notes. So I'm here for you. You guys will probably see it each week that I am gaining weight and I'm gaining more than I'd expected. But again, it's the price that I'm willing to pay for that freedom, for that life, for that ability to date again and to have kids. And like I said, it's your choice. It's your choice why you want to do it, if you're going to do it. And again, adding in the fear foods, you don't need permission. You don't need permission by being too sick or to be a certain body weight. Just feeling restricted enough is enough permission to get out of that mental prison, and it's scary. Trust me, the first few times I had to add in butter to every single meal, and it was a lot of butter that we add at a time, by the way, because it's not a scrape of butter that I add. It's a lot. We'll just say food floats in it. And I had so much anxiety at first, but now it's so normal. Bread is weird to me without the butter. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna lose sense of this discipline. You know, I spent so much time getting used to bland food. I realized that was a fucking shit. That was a shit show of 15 years. That was an absolute shit show, because when you realize what you gave up on, what you missed out on, you want to kick yourself. You literally want to throat punch yourself for saying, you douche. Here doing this together, and I know it's scary. Like I said, every time I stand on that scale, I think I'm as scared that I've gained weight as I haven't that I've gained weight. And again, it's just rewiring our brains together, and that's why I do my written checklists, and it might help you, it might not. I'll speak about it more in the next video. But I hope you did find this helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below to do this with me. Let me know in the comment section down below what videos you want to see. Remember, if you want to see my what I eat in a day videos, then I'll put the link down to the Confused Expat down below. And I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Mwah. I love you all.